This video is brought to you by Prompt Valley Air Conditioning and Heating, 775-727-7488.
Call it pod shaming, if you will. This opinion piece in the New York Times is one of many examples highlighting the dilemma of pandemic learning pods. Pod families are getting shamed for hiring professional educators to oversee virtual learning or privately teach their children.
My husband and I both work full time, and so, there was no childcare options.
Nina Simmons says when the COVID school closures happened last spring, their backs were against a wall.
It was a struggle trying to figure out how to balance working from home, and a lot of people were losing their jobs, so of course you want to be very present at your job.
They pooled resources with another family and started a pod.
And we've hired somebody to help us facilitate the lessons that the district is going to provide us with.
It didn't surprise me that this was something that was going to come down, especially as the COVID lockdown and the questionability of the schools drug on.
It didn't take a pandemic for Tara Myers to create a learning pod. She started 1 year ago when her son Sam, who has Down syndrome, wasn't receiving what he needed at his neighborhood school.
If it's not working, we alter course. And people, I found that some people just resist change.
The pandemic pod families have met resistance, even being called privileged and elitist by some.
I do worry about those in the community that they don't have these resources, but you also want to help your child.
A 34-year veteran teacher says she understands why some families would start a pod.
If I was one-on-one on FaceTime with the younger kids, maybe for only a half an hour, they would hang up on me. And they would take a break when it was, it wasn't recess or lunchtime.
She says she supports the idea of pods because of the in-person supervision.
I think you can do all ages in a pod, but you do need somebody that is qualified to watch over them and make sure that they're learning it.
Should parents feel guilty about starting pods? Should they feel guilty about doing what's best for their kid? And how much should they be thinking about all the other kids out there?
Of course, I don't think that parents should feel guilty about it. I can say as a parent that did this myself, yes, I felt guilty.
As one of the original pod parents, Tara's best advice is to lose the guilt, but also find ways to be inclusive.
I think that if each one of us takes care of ours and then plus one.
Kim Martinez reporting.